friends, and welcome to Monday, I believe. It is Monday? Yes. Technically speaking, it's Tuesday because it's 1 in the morning, but we don't worry about the details. Anyway, I don't know how long this vlog is gonna be because I don't have much to talk about, but I am feeling a lot better. Last night, after I recorded yesterday's vlog, oh goodness, I have a frog in my throat, excuse me. My depression got really bad, and I was definitely not as okay as I thought I was. So basically what happened was I was having a great day. I took that walk. I enjoyed just spending time with Kayla. I was having a great day until the moment I started trying to write. And once I started writing, it triggered an effect in my brain, and this has been happening a lot lately, and I think this is why my writing rut has gotten so bad. Every time I boot up something to write, even if it's just a journal, my brain automatically associates the act of even pulling up one of my documents with just my brain absolutely destroying myself, basically. I pull up a book, and my brain is automatically going, it's not going to be any good, it's not going to be worth writing at all, just shut it down, quit. You're not cut out for this, just stop writing. There's no point in doing it because you're never going to get any better. And that's just exactly what my brain does. It says a lot harsher in my head, but that's the gist of what my brain does every time I even think about writing. And then it occurred to me, why is it that I hate my writing so much when I can enjoy someone else's writing, like a complete beginner's writing, and have so much fun reading it? Because it's clearly not a quality thing. Because I've been writing for 22 years, and I like to think the quality kind of speaks for itself, but even a beginner, I enjoy their ideas, I enjoy their creativity, I enjoy their earnestness especially. I know a lot of new authors who have kind of jumped into the field, and I love reading their stuff so much, and I love feeling almost like a mentor in a way, being like, yes, I've been doing this for 22 years. I will help guide you, young lamb. I mean, not exactly like that, but I like providing encouragement for new writers. And it feels nice. And it feels nice to see them get so enthusiastic about it too. But when it comes to my writing, there's just this deep hatred, and I cannot escape it for some reason. And yeah, if you notice something behind me, I have Spotify on my PS4, so I'm just listening to music. I'm probably going to get some writing done before Kayla gets home from work. But yeah, I just have this on in the background to chill. I was just playing Trails of Cold Steel, the first one, for a second time, and having a lot of fun. But I wanted to get some writing done before Kayla gets home, and then I'll probably pick it back up when they get home, because I know they're probably going to want to use the computer. Anyway, tangent. That's just what my brain does. So I started thinking, why is it that I have this deep-seated hatred for my own writing when I enjoy other people's writing so much? And it occurred to me that it's not just a writing thing, it's a me thing. Every time I boot up my writing, it's a trigger that activates my natural self-loathing. Well, natural. Self-loathing is not a natural state, it's learned. I don't know, it's not natural at all. That is not how we humans are supposed to be. But pulling up my book just reminds me of, or floods my brain of all the things I can't stand about myself. And then it started getting me thinking about, the ideas or the concept of personas and shadows by Carl Jung. Or is it Jung? I've heard it pronounced Jung. My brain always thought it was Jung, but tangent again, whatever. Famous philosopher. The guy who inspired the Persona series. I started thinking about it, and I realized I have a lot of, shadows, to put it simply. Parts of myself that I've suppressed over the years because of things I was told or the way people reacted when I did a certain thing. Because as kids, creativity and confidence are inherent. We are born into the world without a sense of shame. We have a natural sense of curiosity and wonder and just general awe. And we're not afraid to be ourselves. And we lose that as we grow up and become jaded, and people start telling us You can't do this, you can't do that. You're expected to do this, you're expected to do that. Become this, become that. The world shapes you into what it expects of you, and when I was when I was growing up, I was very headstrong. I was incredibly stubborn, and I was thinking about it because I was doing, quote unquote shadow work, just kind of examining your shadows, seeing where the triggers come from, what you judge on other people that's actually being judged about yourself, or that you're judging about yourself, rather, I should say. And it got me thinking about certain past triggers, and I remember getting in frequent arguments with my dad because we had very differing ideals. He was definitely an adult who let life just completely destroy him and reacted to it in the worst possible way, and then he passed those traits down to my brother and I, and that's always fun. But I was thinking about it, and it's wow, I used to butt heads with my dad a lot. Not direct yelling or arguments, because I grew up afraid of confrontation, and I've been deathly afraid of confrontation since. But we used to definitely butt heads, and I used to be very stubborn about my philosophies. He'd be very stubborn about why my philosophies were wrong, and why I should be more like him, basically. He also instilled the philosophy in me, my mom mentioned this, that he instilled the philosophy that as a writer, I should be writing for other people and not for myself. And I feel that's kind of where I lost my sense of writing identity, I suppose. Yeah, my dad and I definitely do not agree on a lot of things. But thinking about all that, it just kind of reminded me of so many things. And I remember, a book I wrote in high school, a friend of mine told me it was so bad that it deserved, all copies of it deserved to be burned and stuff. And I started thinking about that, and I'm damn, I'm starting to see where my triggers are coming from. Being told, essentially, that I have no talent, and at least that's how my brain interpreted it. Because, being told that a book is so bad it deserves to be burned is pretty harsh. I wouldn't tell that to anyone unless it's, a book promoting neo-Nazism or something. You know what I mean? A book just essentially promoting evil. But when it comes to just a work of fiction, even if it's bad, it still has merits, and looking back on the story itself, it wasn't terrible. I was a kid, I was in high school, and I learned a lot over those years, and I was in on the joke because in high school, we were all sarcastic, we all ribbed at each other, but I feel that particular jab, it was so constant, and it came back, for the rest of our high school career. We always called it the cursed book number 5, and was always okay, that book is not canon to the story, blah blah blah, because it's just that bad apparently. But no, it still deserves to exist because I created it. And especially in this day and age when we have AI generated bullcrap, even the worst art deserves to exist, because that's how you start. You're not gonna start off being the greatest author who ever lived. No one ever is, and I don't think anyone ever will be. You just write. You just do what feels natural. You just create. And that's the most important lesson I've learned, kind of doing this shadow work and looking back on the past and realizing where a lot of my anxiety stems from. It's still going to take some consistent work to get back to a point where I don't dread writing, because there's always that voice in the back of my head telling me it's not worth it and all that. But I think this is a good start. And in essence, I believe my recent depression slump has come from this place of pure self-loathing and just absolutely hating myself because I'm not perfect. So it helped me realize that the key is just loving and forgiving myself, really, because I wrote in my journal earlier that I literally have everything I could ever ask for in life. I have a loving partner, I have a great family, I have a roof over my head, I have a job that I love, and I have all the video games I could ever want to play, pretty much. So why am I so miserable? Well, it turns out if you don't love yourself, there's always going to feel like it's always going to feel like there's something missing. And that's just kind of something we need to work on, because self-loathing is all too common in humanity, I think, and we all deserve to love ourselves, because we spend the entirety of our lives with ourselves. Life may be short, but it's not that short, for the most part, so you're gonna be stuck with yourself for decades. Maybe even a century if you're lucky. Or unlucky, depends on how you look at it. But wouldn't you want to be content and comfortable with yourself? And that's something I'm learning myself. I don't want to spend the rest of my life hating the person that I'm essentially with 100% of the time. I want to be comfortable in my own skin and accept myself fully as a person deserving of love, including from myself. And that's something I want to work on and get better at. So that's going to be kind of a new mission for me. And I want to try implementing that daily, hourly, even minutely, essentially. Just reminding myself, like, whenever those triggers come up, because it came up earlier when I was eating dinner, for some reason one of my triggers is always, like, eating food, because I always associate it with, like, the stigma growing up of eating too much and, like, gaining weight and stuff like that. And, like, I'm an adult now, I don't care. I know I have a stomach, and it's fine. I'm not trying to impress anyone. You know, I have a fiance who does not care. So, like, as long as I'm healthy and happy, I don't think it matters. I don't need to be, like, buff and macho and able to run, like, 2 marathons or anything. It's just, food is good, and why not enjoy it? And I recognized that while I was making the food, because I started speaking to my, like, my shadow self, I guess, as if it were a child, like a hurt child, because I started making the food and I recognized that part of myself started hurting. And I was like, okay, hey, no, I get it, you're fine. It's like, I know it hurt in the past, and that's fine. You can let yourself feel this, but acknowledge that we're in the future now. You don't have to worry about that. And it fortunately didn't cause me to go down a downward spiral, because I acknowledged it from a place of compassion and being outside the pain itself. But I did feel its intensity. I felt this intense guilt and self-hate. And I was like, oh my god, you poor thing. Like, to myself, I'm like, you must be really hurting over this. And I'm like, don't worry about it, man. Just chill. Enjoy the food. There's nothing wrong with it. And I feel like that's a big part of shadow work. It's just treating the parts of yourself that are hurting and are angry with compassion, like you're talking to a child because it doesn't know any better. There are parts of ourselves that were stunted growing up because of the trauma we endure, so it's all the more important to learn to reconcile with that and just to give ourselves the space and compassion we need. Anyway, that was heavy enough, and this vlog has gone on long enough. I guess I did have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to end things off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. You are all wonderful people, and as always, I'll see you all tomorrow. And take care of yourselves, because I know this was a heavy vlog, but I hope it'll be helpful to some of you.